Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Hallelujah. We thank the Most High for coming out today, allowing us to come together and break bread and fellowship with one another. We just thank Him for how He's kept us from out of harm's way, protected us from all hurt, harm, and danger. And we thank the Most High for everybody that could come out today. Those that are here, we appreciate you and glad to be here. And today we're going to continue our lesson on covenants. This will be part 2 of our lesson on covenants. And in the first lesson, we begin to go over the covenants and identify the covenants. And we find out that 5 of the 8 covenants pertain to a specific group of people, and that group of people being the nation of Yashra'al, or Israel. Now, the first covenant that we did, or went over, was the Edenic covenant. The covenant that took place between Yahuah, the father, and Adam in the garden. And when we begin to look at these covenants, we begin to see that there are 2 types of covenants. There are conditional covenants, and there are unconditional covenants. And we find out that a conditional covenant is a bilateral covenant in which a proposal between Yahuah is given to man. So when we see that, when Yahuah enters into an agreement with man, this condition or this covenant is conditional. And the promises that are granted within that covenant are only fulfilled if man holds true to his part of that agreement. So when we go back and look at the scriptures, whenever Yahuah entered into covenant with man, anytime man failed to do or oblige or meet the obligations of the covenant, what happened? Punishment. So when we look at how Yahuah deals with mankind, when we look at the covenant, most times you see there are blessings in obedience to the covenant and cursing or curses when there's disobedience or failure to obey the covenant. Now, when we see the second type of covenant, which is an unconditional covenant, an unconditional covenant is a unilateral covenant. Anybody know what that means? It means that only one person is responsible for the obligations or to fulfill that covenant. So when we look at the covenant made with Abraham, was that a bilateral or unilateral covenant? You said bilateral? Or what? Huh?
I said
unilateral.
Unilateral?
Unilateral. Okay, then. Why unilateral? Oh, you guessed it.
Yeah.
Why unilateral, Coach? It's right, though.
Because you said one person responsible, so we put that on Abraham.
So who's responsible in the covenant?
Abraham was responsible. But Yahuah told Abraham to do something, so the Yahuah was responsible.
Okay, let's think about the covenant when he entered into covenant with Abraham. The 2 pieces of meat were cut, right? Now, in a covenant agreement, both parties in a bilateral walk that covenant. But what happened to Abraham when he cut covenant? Huh? He was put to sleep, remember? Yahuah walked himself. So that covenant is perpetual because what? Yahuah is the one who's responsible for fulfilling that covenant, no matter what Abraham or his seed does. The agreement was made by him. He took responsibility for that entire covenant. That's why he said it's an everlasting or a perpetual covenant. Okay then. So what we look at, we see 6 of the 8 covenants are unconditional. No matter what Israel do, those covenants stand. 6 of the 8 covenants are unconditional. And they are what? The Adamic covenant, the Noahic covenant, the Abrahamic covenant, the land covenant, the Davidic covenant, and the new covenant, or the brit Chadasha, the new covenant. I'm going to say that once again. 6 of the 8 covenants are unconditional. The Adamic covenant, the Noahic covenant, the Abrahamic covenant, the land covenant, the Davidic covenant, and the new covenant. Those 6 covenants are unconditional. Now, 5 of these 8 covenants were exclusively made with the nation of Israel. 5 of these covenants were made with Israel, while the other one was made with just mankind as a whole. And 4 of the covenants with the nation of Israel are unconditional. That would be the Abrahamic, the land covenant, the Davidic covenant, and the new covenant. All of this stuff I'm saying is very important. I'm going to say that one more time. The 4 covenants that are unconditional are the Abrahamic covenant, the land covenant, the Davidic covenant, and the new covenant. Now, the reason we're going over these covenants is because when it comes to the Hebrew scriptures, everything is based upon what? Covenants. There's not a time when you're reading in the scripture that no matter what era it is, no matter what scene you're reading, everything is built and based off of a covenant. Now, first there are literal covenants, and the content must be interpreted literally as well. Second, the covenants that Yahuah made with Israel are what? Eternal covenants. The covenants that the Father made with the nation of Yashra'al and Israel are eternal covenants. We got that. And these covenants cannot be what? Altered, broken, or what? Restricted at any time. They're set in stone. Okay then. Thirdly, it's necessary to reemphasize that these are unconditional covenants that were not abrogated because of Israel's disobedience, but because the covenants are unconditional and totally dependent upon Yahuah for fulfillment. The ultimate fulfillment can what? Be expected. There's nothing that can happen. There's nothing anybody can do. He's going to fulfill his covenants that he made with who? Israel. That's why he told you, I don't care. He said what? When you can count the stars in heaven and the sands upon the seas, he said when that's able to be done, then the nation of Yashra'al what? Will not exist. Or his people will be done away. But he said, long as you can walk outside and see the elements and stuff in the sky, the nation of Israel exists. They will always be his people. Y'all will find it strange. You hear all of these different theologies and philosophies that have gone out through the earth. And all of a sudden, now, because you have certain philosophies and religious perspectives that dominate the earth, they're telling you to love, 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 live together, come let's be one big happy family. Y'all don't find it strange that people perpetuate all of this hate towards you but all of a sudden we're going to get into heaven and we're going to live, be joined hand in hand.
Right.
That doesn't make any kind of sense, does it?
No.
But you notice what, when you keep reading the scriptures, you keep reading the Torah, you read the prophets, the Father's word never changed. He said, I'm going to dwell in the midst of Israel forever and none else. He said, I'm going to dwell in the midst of Israel. He wasn't talking about the land. The land has never been called Israel. It was always Yahusha or Jerusalem. He said, I'm going to dwell in the midst of my people forever. And this is what we have to see the importance of all these covenants. When we go to Romans 9th chapter, the Apostle Paul, Shaul, he states it so plainly and so beautifully. The promises, the covenants, the works of Yahuah, everything. He said it pertains to who? Israel. Matter of fact, get that for me, Moshe. Romans 9, verse 1 through 4.
Romans chapter 9, verse 1. I say the truth of Mashiyach, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the set apart spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I wish that I myself were accursed from Mashiyach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, the esteem, the covenants, plural, and the giving of the law, and the service of Elohim, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Mashiyach came, who is over all, Elohim blessed forever. Amen.
Hallelujah. All of these things pertaining to the nation of Yashra'al. You notice he said covenants, plural. Robert can do me a favor. Get on Ephesians 2, verse 11 and 12. Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, verse 11 and 12. Because a lot of people read this, and it seems like sometimes this contradicts what Romans 9 has just said. All because of one word.
Ephesians 2, verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in past times Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision, by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at the time ye were without Yahusha Mashiyach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Yashra'al, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope, without Elohim in the world.
Hallelujah. When we read that, he said, wherefore remember that once ye the Gentiles in the flesh. That one word right there, that one phrase, Gentiles in the flesh, confuses a lot of people. All of a sudden they think now that something has happened where these things shift, and now all of a sudden somebody has been brought into this fold. It doesn't work like that. What would they call the key to this is uncircumcision and circumcision. What people were he calling Gentiles in the flesh?
Northern tribe.
Who said that? What did it say?
Northern tribe.
The northern tribe, or the northern kingdom, the house of Israel. They were called Gentiles in the flesh. Because remember, when we go back and read the book of Hosea, what did he say he was going to do to the house of Israel? You remember he said he was going to write them a bill of divorce? But he also said, in the land where it was said that you're what? Not my people, ye shall what? Become sons of the living Elohim. And where it was said that you had not obtained mercy, you will what? You would obtain mercy. He's talking about the same people, the house of Israel. Because when Mashiyach came, what did he say? Who did he say he come to? He said, I'm only sent to who? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. It is very important for those that may be viewing us by way of YouTube, Facebook, or by Comcast, Channel 25. It's very important that you understand the difference between the house of Jacob the house of Israel, and the house of Judah. Now, let me focus on this house of Jacob right quick. When you hear the word house of Jacob or the house of Yaakov, it's talking about the whole house of all 12 tribes together. And the last time the 12 tribes were together was under Daud and Solomon. That was the last time the 12 tribes were united. When you hear the term the house of Judah or Yahudah, it's only referring to Judah, Benjamin, and a part of the Levitical priesthood, a portion of them. When you hear the word or the term house of Israel, it is not talking about all 12 tribes. It's only talking about the 10 tribes that made up the northern kingdom. I want to name, but I know I'm going to miss one. Asher, Dan, Simeon, Reuben, Gad, Manasseh, Ephraim, Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali. Those are the 10. I'm about to try to say them again. Those are the 10 tribes that made up the northern kingdom. They were called the house of Israel. And the 12 tribes of Israel split into 2 kingdoms around the time of 722 BC. That's when the 12 tribes split into 2 kingdoms. They became 2 nations. So, when we go to Ephesians 2, 11 and 12, that's what it's talking about. Remember that once ye the Gentiles in the flesh. That's very important. He said once ye in the Gentiles in the flesh, who were called what? Uncircumcision. When anybody know the history and begin to study the northern kingdom or the house of Israel, you will know that was a part of the problem, that they stopped circumcising themselves. When they were cut off and they went amongst the other nation, began to live as the other nation, they stopped circumcision. And at one point, they even went into even disguising their circumcision. These people, they were cut off from the covenant. That's why I say you, at one time, you were what? Separated from Mashiyach, strangers from the covenant. That's why you can never open the scripture and see or find anywhere where he made a covenant with anybody outside or another nation outside of the nation of Yashra'al. It's not in there. You'll never find it. So that's why it's very important that we cover these covenants moving forward, because let me tell y'all something. People have a problem when we take possession of the scripture and we say that they're ours. And we say, speaking of us, and the prophecies are concerning us. But it's not until you go back and start from the bottom and show and walk people down this path that they see, wait a minute, these people are right. Because the very people who have oppressed us and done us wrong, these are the very people, who do y'all think they're going to have to depend upon for their salvation? It's the very people that they've done so wrong, the people they spit on, went into their houses and took their husbands and sons, and sometimes their daughters, and took them somewhere and hung them. Sick their German shepherds and shot them with fire hoses and just killed them for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? And these are going to be the very people that you're going to have to look at and look up to for your salvation. But people don't want to hear this gospel. See, this all people. Let me tell y'all something. He said, broad is the road that leadeth to destruction. Let me tell y'all something. When you go to the church, you got pastors like TDJs. They got like 20, 30, 40,000 members. You got Joel Osteen, 30,000 members. Something is wrong with that.
Right. Yeah.
He said it wouldn't be many travelers on this highway. He said every now and then there will be a traveler. So you got to know, anywhere you go in, the masses is flocking and being drawn to you, something is wrong with your message. Ain't nobody flocking to stop being a sissy and a faggot.
That's right.
Ain't nobody flocking to stop sleeping with your brother's wife. Ain't nobody flocking to stop stealing. Ain't nobody running to put that pork chop sandwich down. Ain't nobody doing this stuff. And let me tell you something. Because you can see what has happened in the so-called church or religious institutions. You can see what has happened. I went to, before I came into this truth right here, I was invited to this service. And I went in the service, and I guess it was about 700, 800 people there. And I sat there, and I watched. And the tears were just beginning to flow down my face, just run down my face. I was just so heartbroken because I looked around. You know what I said to myself? If a man came in here and he had a family and he had boys, there's no way he can raise his young men and they will come out of this place screaming.
Oh, that's true.
I sat there and I cried. And it wasn't just the men, it was the women too. Because these places have become havens for these people to come in and do what they do. And let me tell you something about me. I don't care what issue you may be dealing with. I don't judge people. And let me tell you something. If somebody came in here and they were dealing with that, they would have to sit under the word. We have to teach them. I don't believe in running people away, but the only way they can change it, they have to be able to hear the word. They have to be able to hear thou shalt not, you cannot, you must not. You have to extend Mashiyach, Yahusha to them, but they have to be able to come and hear the word. But when you go into a place and they tell you it's all right, he loves us all the same, come on, y'all. It's crazy. How can you go in a place and you telling people it's all right, you can do anything? Because that's what the message is. Because he's forgiven. We got grace. Grace covers your sins and all that. That's a hot mess and a hot lie.
Yep.
He telling you not to do this, that, and other. Thou should not do this. Thou should not do that. Thou should not do this. If you do it, you should surely die. And all these things. How is that your message is different from his message? And this is the only thing that's going to bring our people out. You have to tell them and hold them accountable. And that's even with them. We have to hold each other accountable. We have to hold each other accountable. I will look you a very stranger if you see me walking in error, and I come in here, I'm with you every Shabbat, and you don't say nothing to me. Never mind me having a title moray. That has nothing to do with it. If I'm walking in error, guess what? You're supposed to bring to my attention, bring a correction. You have to hold, your responsibility is to hold me accountable. Am I right? Your responsibility is to hold me accountable, because you know what? When I'm standing before Yahuah, and don't forget that we all going to stand before him now. And you know what? I don't even know why I'm going here. I know there has to be the Ruach. Let me tell y'all something. Oh, let me tell y'all something. I would not be able to stand before Yahuah and tell him, well, Moshe didn't tell me. I would not be able to blame anything on you. He's not going to ask me anything about you. He's not going to ask me anything about you or you. He's going to ask me, what did I do? What hindered me? It's our responsibility not only to hold ourselves accountable, but hold each other accountable.
Yeah, exactly. But the one that didn't tell you, he's got to deal with that judgment also.
Exactly. He has to deal with that judgment.
Yeah, because he didn't tell you.
Exactly.
And that's in
Leviticus 1:5.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because let me tell y'all something. I love you enough to tell you the truth. And I hope you love me enough to tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Because y'all can see this, you can look through his prophets, and it did convict his people. It convicted them so much they killed every prophet. Killed every prophet. Because what did he say? He said he chastens them that he loves. And we have to be careful during this time. We have to be very careful. This is a time now with all this stuff going on. It's not just going on to be going on. It's for Israel. It's a sign. Every time we see this thing, I'm getting closer. Every time you see a storm, I'm getting a little bit closer. I'm almost there. It's for us to get in a set apart place. And so when we see these things, we just have to keep in mind that I need to be in a set apart place. Because let me tell you something. Just because the nation of Yashra'al are attached and connected to these covenants, they will be fulfilled. But that doesn't mean they will be fulfilled with you. And that's what we have to understand. And that's what happened with our ancestors. You ever noticed every time Mashiyach came to them with Torah, what did they always try to throw up in his face or use against him? Abraham. Why did they always throw up Abraham? What was it about Abraham that they thought they had a trump card in their back pocket? They knew it was a perpetual covenant. They knew it was unconditional. But there's not a covenant that allows you to look past Mashiyach and what he's done. We don't have a covenant that does that. And so when we look at these covenants, we always want to keep them in perspective. And let me tell you something about the nation of Yashra'al and what Yahuah says about them. He said 2/3 of my people, what? Should be cut off. That's a lot of people, y'all. He said 2/3. He said not 2/3 of the people. He said 2/3 of my people should be cut off. But aren't all his people under the covenant? Does not the new covenant pertain to his people? But this is why you know what, y'all? This is why I'm trying to show y'all the importance of these covenants. All of Israel these covenants pertain to. But all of them are not going to be saved. All of them are not going to be made. Matter of fact, most of them are going to be lost. But they're the people of the covenant. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. When you see people get trapped and caught up in these religious institutions with these satanic doctrines and all going forth, you can see how it's going to happen. Not only that, look at and let's examine ourselves. And I say this all the time. All of the time. You do not have a on and off switch that you're going to live and be any kind of way whenever you want to and how you want to. Then all of a sudden that day is upon us. And you're going to hit the switch and all of a sudden you're going to get on straight street and stand up and do right. It doesn't work that way. Matter of fact, he doesn't even allow you to do it that way. Because he slips and sneaks up on you. He comes as a thief in the night. You don't even have that opportunity. That's why he told you to stand in a set-apart place. He said, them that are what? Set apart? Let them what? Remain set apart.
That's right.
And those that are what? Unrighteous? Remain that way. It's too late. He catches you just that fast.
So already didn't tell me I can't bank on the $11,000?
No, you can't bank on the $11,000. You cannot do it. Because if we can do things, let me tell you something. We do things and we say things, and a lot of times we lay down in our beds and we lay down like we're guaranteed to wake up in the morning.
Right.
That's where you mess up. I never lived my life gambling on something like that. That's why if I mess up, I'll correct it. I call you, I get it straight. I don't believe in all that harboring and holding stuff, going to sleep. mad and angry, because guess what? I'm not guaranteed to wake up in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why even in my relationship, I don't fall out with my Isha and be angry, going to bed with some kind of anger in my heart, and I done said things that I know I shouldn't have said. No, it doesn't work like that, because what if I don't wake up in the morning? The only thing she's going to remember are those last words that came out of my mouth. And let me tell you something. There are some things that can come out of your mouth. I'm sorry does not fix it, y'all. It does not fix it. It takes time and the Most High to heal mentally, spiritually. I mean, that's when we have to be careful. What we say to each other. What do we say to our loved ones? How we treat our loved ones. How we treat our brothers and sisters. Because this thing is just that important. But you know, I'm the type of person, I live my life where I respect who each and every last one of you are. And whatever you can do to me, whatever you can say to me, it doesn't get to me like that. You know why? You're my brother and my sister. And I just feel like, well, maybe they're having a bad day. Because they're normally not like that. So I have to know that there's something outside of the norm that has taken place. You know what I'm saying? So now I know why I ain't got to have no hard feelings toward my brother and my sister. They're just having a bad day. And when they come to me, I'm like, oh man, I was past that. I mean, I don't worry about that.
Right.
When we shalom and hug, we move on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I deal with my brothers and sisters. That means to know them that labor amongst you. And see, this is going to be key for us getting into the kingdom. This is going to be key for us being a part and being under the covenant. Because I'm telling y'all, when you go back and read the story of Mizraim, you read how he entered into covenant with his people. And what happened? No sooner than he get off the mountaintop, what had they done? They had already broken. He entered into covenant with them, come down with the Torah, and they had already broken the covenant that fast. And do y'all see the actions of y'all's people in the wilderness? Do you see how they showed out? But do y'all know that Israel that you read about in the scripture in the wilderness? Do y'all know who those same people are today? Every last one of you in this room. We're those same people. Look at our people. Just look out. We're not even going to talk about America in general. Let's stick with the state of Georgia. Do y'all see how our people act? Now, a lot of times we will blame it on this system and what they've been conditioned to.
Yeah.
But all of that, sometimes we can go too far with that. Because let me tell you something about people. I don't care what this system has done. When I'm sitting under this truth or whatever, that's still a certain way I'm supposed to present and carry myself on my job. Let's say even if I didn't even come into this truth, you know the expectations of what people expect out of you on your job. Don't you know better even when I come home, I'm coming into the hood or our neighborhood. I shouldn't be in my house laying on the floor because I know bullets gonna get to fly any moment. Think about the nation of Israel. Why is it that we put our community in danger? Nobody's coming in from the outside harming our people. We're the ones robbing our own people. We're the ones stealing from our own people. We're the ones gunning and murdering our own people. You can blame that on the system and all that stuff all you want to, but you know right from wrong. You just got this devil in you.
That's right.
You can blame a system all you want to, and all say you full of the devil. And this the thing. We use this system as as a pacifier for too long. We've used this system we've run it into the ground with blaming this system. No, that sometimes you have to be held accountable and take some responsibility yourself. But that's the thing with the nation of Yashra'al. If this is what he keeps saying, this is why he said, even with all of these covenants, you don't find strength. He still say, 2/3 of my people shall be cut off and destroyed. What is it about those people, and what will they be doing to get cut off and be destroyed? Because one thing he did say, he said, I'm not going to leave not one of my sons and daughters behind. He's going to deliver and save every last one of them out of this captivity. That's just the beginning. When he takes us to that set-apart place that he has prepared, that's when it all going to hit the rubber going to meet the road right then. That's when accountability is going to take place. But what is it about during that time, during that wilderness period that we go through, that's going to cause 2/3 of the people to be cut off?
The old ways.
Say that.
The old ways.
The old ways. He's going to forget about all the stuff that took place in America with them. Because you know the wilderness experience is what? That's where you're going to be taught.
That's right.
He's going to give you new instructions. He's going to lay out this beautiful life before, this beautiful plan, a life plan before you. Is that just going to show you how wicked our people are? That 2/3 of them not going to make it. Because they don't see how important it is not to steal. They don't see how important it is not to kill. Israel has never been an obedient people. Never. Out of all the most the Father has done for them, he's had everything but their heart. Everything but their heart. That's a shame. That is a shame. And that's why we want to work on ourselves. I can't vouch for nobody else, but I know I have to work on me. Because let me tell y'all something. If y'all think I'm going to come out here every Shabbat, and then I stand before this man, he talking about depart from me, why I never knew you. You talk about some fighting. I ain't got nothing to lose because I'm going to hell anyway. Talking about her fight. It ain't worth for me to waste all this time on Shabbat. I ain't going to tell you no lie that I didn't like pork chop when I was eating. That I didn't like shrimp when I was eating. I gave that stuff up for a reason. Because I saw that in his word it was written. It was written to me that I'm not supposed to do these things.
It's obedience.
Yeah, it's obedience. Obedience is a good thing. That's why it's very important that we start working on ourselves. We're going to, let me tell y'all something. I think I did talk this in another lesson a while back. How in our culture, that in our marriages, it's the responsibility of the man to go back and return to his father's house to prepare a place for he and his bride. I said, do y'all not know the Most High entered into covenant with the nation of Yashra'al? And she never made it to her husband's house? Matter of fact, she died in the wilderness. She never made it to his house. Do y'all know our marriage has never been consummated? A consummation never took place with the nation of Israel. All because of what? Hard-headedness, stiff-necked disobedience. I mean, so disobedient, so silly, and so stupid to the point where out of all those people came out of Mizraim, he brought out of Egypt. they died in the wilderness. It was their offspring and children born in the wilderness that went in.
Right.
I hope that sounds very bad to y'all. Because the only way we can do right, we have to hear what type of people we are. We have to be able to see what's in us in order to correct things. Because we think, well, that was them back there, I'll never do that. Yes, you would. You do the same thing. It's only because his mercy and his favor. We would do the same thing. You know we would do the same thing because it said 2/3 of them going to be cut off. That's what I'm trying to show you, the importance of this whole thing, the importance of this walk. You are the light bearers. It's very important.
We had a young man in our neighborhood, like across the street, and my neighbor left the garage door open, and it was